Hey there, it's Misty. I'm back again this week to share a new challenge with you for the Simon Says Stamp Wednesday Challenge blog. The theme this week is called Let's Get Ready for Christmas, and we are featuring Clearly Besotted products. So I'm going to use this adorable little Rockin' Robin stamp set by Clearly Besotted, and I'm also going to use this set that I'm stamping out here from Fawn called Joy to the Woods. And I'm stamping this out in Simon Says Stamp ink called SPARROW. I normally use black, but I just thought this would be a perfect color to stamp these birch trees with. And I'm going to color these trees with my Copic markers, but I'm not going to do any shading on it. I'm actually just going to color it with one color. And the reason why is because as soon as I started to go over the lines in the tree, it seems like they almost started to not bleed, but they kind of faded, it seemed like. And I don't know if it was the Copic marker that did that, or if I just didn't wait for it to dry. Well, but then it would have bled. So I don't know why. It seems like it faded the color. So I colored the trees with W1, and then I went over all the little lines you see in the tree with W3, but it wasn't dark enough, so I'm going to go over it again with W4. And it matched the color that I stamped the trees in perfectly, I thought. And normally I stamp an image and then I color inside of the line, so maybe this is just what happens when you go over it with Copic markers, and I've just never paid attention to it. I don't know. I don't know why it faded the color. I don't know if it was the alcohol in the marker. I don't know. It's a dye-based ink though, so you got me. Anyway, it was an easy fix. So I'm going to fussy cut all these images out. And this is the little birds in the Rockin' Robin stamp set by Clearly Besotted. I thought these guys are so cute. And then I stamped some of the ornaments from the Fawn set. So I thought I would like this color combo. This is E50, what was it? E55 and E51. But maybe it's just the way I colored it. I didn't like it. He just looked dirty. He reminded me of Pigpen from Charlie Brown, so I decided to try a different color combo. So I did E57 and E55, I think. And I liked that color combo much better. Just didn't look dirty. Does the bird on the left look dirty to you, or is it just my strange brain? So I stamped a couple of these out because I didn't know how many birds I was going to want in my little scene, or which image I was going to want. So and this worked out perfect because then I just practiced on the one on the left. And I almost threw that one on the left on the inside, even though he looks like Pigpen. But the kid told me to only put 2 in, so that's what I did. All right, so coloring the center here, that was R37. This is R27. And I could have just done these 2 colors, but I was feeling frisky, so I went for it. I added some R24. And I don't know if you saw, but I went out of the lines a little bit with the brown, but it was going towards the center where it was going to be red, so I didn't even worry about cleaning it up with the colorless blender. I figured the red would cover it up. All right, so I just cut out a little snowy hillside with the glitter pack by Simon Says Stamp, and now I'm going to do some ink blending. So this is all Distress Oxide inks, and this is Broken China, and then Blueprint Sketch. And I'm going to do Faded Jeans and a little bit of the Black Soot. I like these colors together. I wish I would have done a little bit more of the Broken China at the bottom, but it looks really pretty with the white, the glittery white paper that I used for the snowbank. So see, I'm just going to add a touch of black around the edges. And then I went over it a couple times just to try to get the colors to blend together. Got to add some water droplets. The water droplets I liked, but I wanted to add a little bit more, so I'm going to add this Shimmer Spritz and Sparkle. The color is called Sparkle. and it's really pretty. It makes the whole thing glittery, but I didn't want to wipe it off, so I was just kind of really lightly tapping the excess liquid off. But see how pretty that shimmer is? I'm all about the glitter paper and the shimmer and the, I like shiny things. So I started to glue down my little trees here, and I knew I was going to have a frame on the front of it, but I had to stop. I realized when I glued the first one down, I didn't want the trees hanging out over the top of my frame there. So I kind of panicked for a minute. And I also didn't want to accidentally not leave enough room for the sentiment in the center or have it be off-centered. So I stopped with the tree. I glued down one crooked tree, and now I tested it first to make sure that the embossing powder wasn't going to stick where I didn't want it to, and it looked like the distress inked background was dry. So I'm going to quickly heat emboss my sentiment. Yeah, it's a little crooked, but like my son said, trees are crooked sometimes, so that's what I'm going with. I'm using this Simon Says Stamp embossing ink again. I really like this ink. I think in one of my last videos I said it's not as sticky as other inks that I've used, and I mean, because you want it to be sticky because you want the embossing powder to stick to it, but I don't know, I just like this one better. Like, it doesn't stick to my hand. It seems like if I get embossing powder on my fingers and then I touch anywhere on my card, then I'm going to have a big old fingerprint where the embossing powder wants to stick. So this sentiment is also part of that Rockin' Robin stamp set. I thought it was cute. I love this sentiment. And the other reason why I wanted to hold up on gluing my trees down is because, when you hit it with the heat gun or the heat tool, it warps the paper, and I didn't want to glue them down and have a mess with the trees. So I just decided to stop and do the sentiment first and then glue down the trees. But I'm going to keep checking to make sure that the trees aren't going over the top. And that one kind of had me panicking a little bit. Because, once you put the glue down, this glue dries pretty fast. This is the, the stuff I always use. The drawn total blank right now. Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive is the glue I use in my syringe, but it dries pretty quick. So I was trying to scoot it down. See, the bottom is going to have the snowbank there, so you're not going to see the bottom. But the top I just didn't want sticking outside of my frame. So you see, you got a little bit of wiggle room, but not much. And this is my little snowy snowbank. See, there's my little dirty bird. I was going to have him there, but kid told me to only put 2, so. And I thought it'd be fun to make it look like, it almost looks like the bird is holding it over its head like it's mistletoe or something, but that's funny. I just noticed that. I mean, it's not. It's holly, but doesn't it look like the bird's holding it up over its head? But I was just doing it like a, like a hair ornament. And then this cute little Santa hat came in the stamp set too. See, I stamped a couple of them because I didn't know how many birds I was going to have in there or what I was going to have them doing. And then in the stamp set, the Lawn Fawn Joy to the Woods, it has a stamp. It's up in the top right hand corner. I don't know if you can see it by the embossing, the anti-static powder. It's a stamp that makes dotted lines, which I could have heat embossed that too and did it in white, but it was just going to take less time to just draw in the little dotted lines. See here too, I wasn't thinking, and I went a little higher than I should have because I didn't want this hanging out over the frame either. The one on the left, you can see one little dot above the frame, but I'm not too worried about that. And then I just wasn't liking the white frame, So I decided to do another panel of the Distress Oxide inks, and then I'm going to cut the frame out so it'll match the background. To make my frame, I'm just using 2 sizes of the Stitched Rectangles by Simon Says Stamp. And since all I need is the frame, I thought it would be really cool to make a card using the spare parts, since I love these colors. So I had a card forming in my mind here, where I would use the 2 spare parts there and acetate. But I don't have everything I need to make that one, so hopefully that card I'll be able to make soon. But wouldn't that look pretty? My frame had some little paper hairs, so I just took a little nail file and filed away the little strays. I'm putting down my favorite adhesive when I use craft foam. This is the score tape. And then I'll put my sheet of acetate over that. I think score tape sticks really well to craft foam. So whenever I make a shaker card, that's the adhesive I reach for. And I was lucky I found this piece of craft foam. This is why I hold on to all my little bits and pieces that I don't use, because I don't have any full sheets of craft foam, so I have a bin with all my spare parts in it, and I just so happen to have a frame that I can make work for this card. I had to trim it down a little bit, but not much. See, that's why you should hold on to everything. I know my husband totally disagrees with that statement, but that's my theory anyway. Okay, I have to tell you something kind of funny here. I thought I had a tree stamp that I wanted to use. Like I have these tree stamps here. But I thought I had one by Clearly Besotted, but I couldn't find it. So I used these trees in the Lawn Fawn set. But as I was just looking for the name of another die, it popped up, and I keep all my stamps and dies in Evernote. So you'd think that I would have realized that it was there. But I totally have a birch tree stamp set by Clearly Besotted that I could have used. And it was the idea I had originally had, where it's a solid stamp. So, and then it has little holes for, like birch trees have. And I wanted the trees to be heat embossed in white. And I totally could have done that, but I didn't look good enough. And so here we are. But the birch trees by Clearly Besotted would have looked really good with this too. So the lesson I learned today was, if you think you have something, look again, because you probably do. All right, just adding some Spectrum Noir glitter pen to my ornaments. And I don't know where I got this stuff. I just had it in my stash, but I've never used it. I think this is the stuff that for a while, people were like making flowers with this kind of stuff on it. Maybe that's why I got it. I don't know, but I thought it was perfect to put in the shaker card to look like snow. Now, I added a few other sequins, actually quite a few, but I ended up taking my card apart when I was photographing it because I didn't like how much was in there. It was just too much. It was covering like the whole snowy bank there and the bottom of the bird, so I'm gonna very carefully take this apart later and just leave the snowflakes in there, or what looks like snow. There's a couple sequins in there, but not many. You'll see here in the pictures in a second how much I took out. And then I just added it to a 110-pound card base. And that's my video for this week. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this card that I made for the Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. All of the supplies that I used are listed and linked in the description below, and I'll also have them over on my blog with additional pictures. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and while you're there, click on that little bell icon so that you don't miss any of my videos, which is usually one video a week. All right, I'll see you next Wednesday with another card and another challenge. Thanks. Bye.